In modern times, saddle makers have realised that a bad-fitting saddle can be a real pain for the horse. The rider will feel that pain in the animal's attitude and performance. So now saddles are often custom-made to fit both the horse and the rider. A little 21st century horse sense. To make an English saddle, they attach both rigid and flexible steel strips to a frame made of polyurethane, which is called a tree. Then they rivet a stirrup bar through the tree to the steel that's just been fastened to the underside. A jigsaw cuts a hole in the tree. Foam is glued for cushioning. Now the back of the cantle or seat is coated with glue and a piece of leather is stuck onto it. The leather is crimped around the edge of the tree. And a special leather cutting tool called a clicker knife is used to carve away the extra material. Then, glue is sprayed onto the top of the tree and a layer of foam is pressed onto it. Using an ordinary kitchen knife, excess foam is sliced away at the sides, and more foam is carved out to shape the seat. Then the edges are shaved with a rasp. Next, 2 more pieces of foam are layered over it, and they are sculpted and shaved. A measuring stick is run along the seat to make sure it's even. And a piece of black foam is pasted on top to add even more cushioning. Now, a piece of leather is sliced to make a saddle flap, following an outline of the rider's leg. The flap is fed into a skiving machine. Its circular blade shaves the edges of the leather as a wheel pulls it through. The thinned out edges will be easier to sew later on. Next, the saddle logo is heat stamped onto the flap, as are the model, serial number, tree and seat size. Now foam is glued to a hard piece of leather to make a knee pad, and a softer leather is stuck on top where the rider's knee will rest. The leather is then drawn tight around the edges using a piece of whalebone so that it's smooth on top. Whalebone is used because it doesn't scar or scratch leather. Next, the front edges are sealed and crimped together. The leather is pulled tight from the rear, and glue is painted onto the fatter rim. Glue is brushed onto the flap, and the knee pad and flap are pressed together so the glue sticks. They're hammered to strengthen the bond, then stitched together along the glue line. Wool and a synthetic mixture are stuffed into the panel, which will be on the horse's back. It's being done with a certain horse in mind. The amount of stuffing used depends on the shape of the horse the saddle is being made for. It's hammered flat with a rubber mallet, and then the panel is stitched to the top of the saddle. A hole is made with an awl, and then the needle and thread are pulled through it. Spraying water keeps the leather soft. The seams are hammered to get rid of any gaps between the layers. But sewing the back of the panel to the bottom of the seat is a bit trickier. A curved awl and needle are used to work with the contours. It's taken about 25 hours to piece together this customised saddle, and that's with no horsing around. This is the SaddleTech device. It's used to make sure the saddle measures up. The tree machine adjusts the gullet plate, the piece of rigid steel that sits above the horse's withers. Plastic panels support the saddle, while a hydraulic press bends the plate to fit the measurement. Now it's time to saddle up and check out the horsepower from this custom-made seat. Tally-ho, giddy up, yee-haw.
Never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.